Hope you guys are doing awesome. So let me pull some notes up here. Okay, so yesterday we talked about physical healing, and we talked about saying yes to smart carbs and no to sugars and caffeine and alcohol, and I shared with you some of my favorite foods and how I like to include lots of vitamin C in my diet. And today I hope to give you some pointers on how to get emotional healing. Okay, so first, take some time to really acknowledge where you are emotionally. Are you sad? Are you angry? Frustrated? Acknowledge what you're feeling and be aware of where you are emotionally and be honest with yourself. Don't hold back where you are. Just know where you are, acknowledge that. And second, don't be ashamed of where you are. You've had a loss, you're experiencing grief, and grief comes in many different forms. So just remember that God loves you and He is going to meet you exactly where you are. So there's absolutely no reason to be ashamed of where you are. So third, just be. You don't have to rush into healing or getting over it. Give yourself permission to just be exactly where you are. For my mommies who've miscarried, I want you to acknowledge to yourself that you are a mother. You had a life inside of you, and most importantly, you formed love for this baby. You have love in your heart, and this is real love. So it's okay to acknowledge that you're a mother. As a matter of fact, I encourage you to acknowledge that you are indeed a mother with a mother's heart. God creates life, and He chose you to carry this little being in your body. And so that's something to celebrate and to acknowledge, that you carried that. You were chosen for that specific baby. Even if it was just for a few days or a few weeks, He chose you. You were chosen to love that baby, even if it was for a short amount of time. So acknowledge that you are a mother. Fifth, if you're married, make sure that you are communicating your heart with your husband. It's important for him to know exactly where you are, how you're feeling, how you're doing, what's going on inside of there. So make sure that you're communicating with him often. And it's also important that you're there for him, that you know where he is emotionally, and that you ask him how he's doing. Allow this loss to bring you closer into your marriage, and don't allow it to tear you apart. So communicate with your husband. I also think it's important that we not only confide in our husbands, but we also have godly women in our life to walk along these seasons with. Being able to communicate with other women is a must. Woman to woman, there is a different kind of support that other women can give to one another. And so it's important that we have that community of God-fearing women in our life to help us and to help us say yes to healing, to cheer us along as we're saying yes to healing, to pick us up if we stumble or if we're having a bad day. So make sure that you have those God-fearing women in your life. And if you don't have a God-fearing woman in your life, find a church, there's lots of different organizations in different towns. I know here in Portland, I've looked up 2 different pregnancy loss organizations, and there's lots of grief organizations for all kinds of grief. And so find an organization, reach out to me. I'm more than happy to help you. That's actually something that I'm working on, implementing on my website, is different places in the United States that you can go and get some kind of support with, because it's important, ladies especially, it's important that we have our girls with us. Like I said, it's absolutely a must that we communicate with our spouse, but there is something different, a different kind of support that we can only get with godly women in our lives. So lastly, I want you to find a way to express feelings in a healthy way. my sister gave me a journal shortly after our miscarriage, and I started journaling about our loss. Journaled my feelings, just things that would go on in my head, and that journaling soon turned into blogging about miscarriage for the very first time and just being very open about it. And I found whenever I did that, it was not only therapeutic for me, but women started to reach out to me and say, hey, I know how you're feeling. Thank you for writing that. Or I have a friend who's battling this and she describes exactly what you wrote. Can I share this with her so that that way she knows she's not crazy, because she tells me all the time she thinks she's crazy. And so I found a way to allow what I'm going through to help other people. That blogging is now turning into me to me being in the middle of writing a book about miscarriage and healing, to help other women. And so allow that what you're going through to be something that you find a way to express yourself in a healthy manner. And if you don't, you don't have to write a book, you don't have to be creative. There are lots of hobbies. If just you're not the creative type, that's fine too. There are lots of hobbies, lots of things that you can pour yourself into. There's cooking, there's baking, there's running, there's reading, painting, knitting. There's all kinds of things. So just find a way to release that pain in a healthy manner. Find a hobby to get that built up emotion out. Now let's see. So going along with that, I have a friend who, and it's totally not even necessarily a creative thing, but she has found a way to honor her baby that she lost by running marathons and races. And so she just dedicates her workouts to her baby, and she dedicates every single race to her baby that she lost. So she is still finding a way, even outside of the creative realm, to honor her baby and to honor her loss. So make sure that you find something to find joy in, to get some kind of life back into you. So these are just some ways that helped me on my journey to healing, things that help me every single day still. So I hope that this helps you. So remember to acknowledge where you are, acknowledge where your emotions are, where you are in the grief process, and don't be ashamed of where you are. Remember that God loves you exactly where you are, and He's going to be there, right there. He's going to scoop you up and love you. And so don't be ashamed of where you are. Don't be embarrassed of where you are. God's going to meet you there. Give yourself permission to just be exactly where you are. Acknowledge it and give yourself permission to be okay where you are. If you've experienced pregnancy loss, acknowledge that you are a mother with a mother's heart and you have love for your baby. Communicate with your husband and or other women in your life. And lastly, find something to do that makes you happy, that can help you move forward in a healthy manner and to bring joy back into your life. So that's it for today, guys. Join me tomorrow as we discuss saying yes to healing, spiritual healing. Don't forget that I love you guys. I pray for you and I am here for you. Reach out if you ever need a friend or if you ever have questions. I wrote a blog yesterday to help other women who maybe have friends who have gone through a pregnancy loss and they don't know what it's going through, and it's more about how to tell somebody, a woman that's experienced pregnancy loss or infertility, that they're pregnant again. And so I had said in that blog at the end of it, if you ever have questions on how to be there for somebody, if you just don't know how to be there for them, you're having questions about that, do not hesitate to ask me. Honestly, I am touched. I've had that happen a few times, and it touches my heart because it's telling me that you care about the woman in your life who's experiencing infertility or who's experiencing pregnancy loss. And that's huge, guys. In a world where people just don't take the time to care, that's huge, to care about a woman going through this. So thank you from the bottom of my heart to all of you who do care. But If you guys have any questions, I'm always here. Bye.